Well, hello everybody, it's the Rev'd Ed here with another assembly. I hope you're all doing well, and you might notice that I'm sitting out in my garden. I love nature, and I love looking around at it and appreciating it and seeing all of the beautiful things that God has created. But I'm also aware that nature is an amazing thing, and that it's full of patterns and sequences that God has made. I wonder if you can guess from these numbers what the next numbers would be. 1, 2, 3. Can you guess what the next ones would be? Can you start to see what the pattern is, even from these few numbers at the beginning? Give you a moment to guess. See if you can work it out. If you want, your teacher could pause it and see if you know. Well, the next number, let me give you a clue. The next number would be 5. Well, if the next number's 5, what do you think the number afterwards is? Can you work it out? The next number is 8. Because each of these numbers is the two preceding numbers, the two numbers before it, added together. So we've got nothing there. Add 1 is 1. 1. Add 1 is 2. 2 add 3 is 5. 3 add 5 is 8. And so on. It can keep on going on and on. Well, that sequence is called the Fibonacci sequence, named after a famous Italian scientist who was born back in 1170, over 8 centuries ago. And he came up with this way of looking at numbers, and he came up with this sequence, the Fibonacci sequence, which is that sequence where you add the two numbers together to make the next number. And amongst other things, it does beautiful things. It makes a spiral, a perfect spiral, and actually we can see that spiral in nature. But the Fibonacci numbers come up all over the place, and I thought, as I was looking around my garden, I spotted that lots of my flowers actually have Fibonacci sequence numbers in them. So let's have a look at a few of those flowers, partly because they're pretty and it gives us a chance to just appreciate how beautiful nature is, but also to realise the order and the wonder of creation. So the first one of these are my runner bean plants. And you can see, if you look carefully, that although they're different shapes, there are actually 3 petals, one of the Fibonacci numbers. It's not just flowers. We often spend time looking for 4-leaf clovers, don't we? But actually, the reason they're really rare is because most clovers are actually 3-leaved. And the 4-leaf ones are actually because they're very strange and there's been what's called a mutation. It's something that makes them different. So nearly every single one is actually 3-leaved. Well, let's move up in our Fibonacci sequence. Here I've got some 5-petaled flowers. Yet another of the Fibonacci numbers. Here is a buttercup. You can see it's got 5 petals on it. Here's another flower. This one's called an aquilegia. If you look at the central part, it's got 5 flowers, and then it's surrounded by 5 more bits of petal. You might have seen quite a lot of these flowers. These are called forget-me-nots. Well, I hope you won't forget them, because they, like some of these others, have 5 petals as well. This one here is a weed that's growing in my garden. I haven't done enough weeding recently, but it allows me to see that again we've got beautiful 5-petaled flowers. I've got lots of 5-petaled flowers. Here's another of the plants in my garden, and that's got 5 petals as well. And then this one as well, which is a sort of geranium, also has 5 petals. You'll notice that 5 is quite common in flowers. One more flower here with another 5 petals. It's not just the flowers though. I've sliced through an apple here, and you can see that we've got a 5-pointed star in it. Again, that number 5, one of those Fibonacci numbers. But you know, it goes up even bigger. I couldn't find any with 8 in them, or 13, which would be the next number, which is the 5 plus the 8. But here I've got a knapweed. And actually, when I counted it all, and 1 or 2 of the petals have fallen off because it's just beginning to go over, but actually where the spaces are, there are actually 21 petals. And if you look closer at the individual little petalates, each of those has 5. So it's got 2 Fibonacci numbers in it. And then here's a daisy. You see them all over the place. Well, I carefully counted all of the petals on this little daisy, and guess what? It's another Fibonacci number, the number 34. So we've got lots of things in nature that have the Fibonacci sequence. Maybe you'd like to spend some time when you look around at the beautiful things that God has made to see if you can spot some of those Fibonacci numbers. It's not just in the plant kingdom, it's also in the animals as well. You'll see that sometimes there are Fibonacci numbers. How many arms does your usual starfish have, for example? You can find this beauty of creation all over the place if you just look a little more closely. And it just reminds me that for me, I see in the science and in the beauty of creation, God at work. Because we remember that God created the earth and the heavens. And one of the things that he said is, let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding fruit, trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seed in it. And it was so. So God made everything, and he made it with a beautiful and wonderful order. So sometimes it's just lovely to see that in nature and to just take a little bit of time to really appreciate it. But of course, one of the other things that God did when he told us about creating the world and then giving it to us to look after is that we have to look after it. We know that we've sometimes got things a bit wrong with our care of creation, but we need to look after all of the beautiful things that God has made, all of the plants and the animals, even the bugs. Some of us might not like bugs very much, but they're really important for helping the plants to be pollinated and make more plants, and for all of the wonderful cycle and beauty of nature. So we need to look after each and every little part of it. And so I'm going to finish now with a prayer. And if you want to make the prayer your own, you could, if you want to, close your eyes, maybe put your hands together. And if you'd like to, you can say Amen at the end. Dear God, thank you for the beauty of creation. Help us to see its wonder, to care for everything you have made, and always remember to love all you have made as you love us. Amen. Well, do go out and enjoy being outside and seeing all of the wonderful things that God has made and enjoying them always. Hopefully I'll see you soon. But until then, look after yourselves. Bye.